Okay, so for today's video, I came across this channel, John Stossel, and this interested me, DEI disaster. For those who don't know, DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, it's being pushed in like colleges and corporations and stuff like that. I did a previous video about like the wheel of privilege and power, and that's tied in with this DEI thing. So I'm curious as to what this video is about, seeing as it's saying it's not going well, I guess. So yeah, let's just jump right into it.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion are everyone's responsibility.
DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion. That sounds nice and responsible. No wonder all big companies now require employees to get training in it.
Because we understand that racial and systemic bias have many causes, sources, and ways of showing up within each of us.
Even if that's...
See, this is what I'm talking about, how it's being pushed into corporations and stuff. I think equality is more important than equity, but, you know.
It's true. Do you know what American companies now do to address it? Some make ritual apologies
I saw
for
this
America's
video.
past.
She just goes
We
on
want
and
to
on and
acknowledge
on
that
and
the
on.
land where the Microsoft campus is situated was traditionally occupied by the Sammamish.
By proclaiming guilt, companies try to signal that now they're virtuous.
The Snohomish, the Tulalip.
It's nice to apologize.
Yes, but what is it really doing?
Eric Smith was the diversity officer at Drew University.
Drew.
Now he teaches at York College.
Why'd you stop being a diversity officer?
I just thought it was a useless thing. There's a better way to go about doing this.
Diversity and inclusion.
Useless or not, companies continue to pay big money for trainings.
There's a whole industry now designed to cater to companies looking for a quick way to check that box. In the U.S. in 2020, DEI was a $3.4 billion industry.
Whoa, that was 2020. This is probably even way more now.
Every big company.
They feel like they have to. They have to say something. They have to signal to the world that they're doing something.
Is it effective?
No. In fact, it seems to be doing worse. It seems to be making people less likely to interact with people who are unlike them.
100%.
You know, because
100%.
it's like a minefield now.
Less likely to interact.
After a training where you hear things about microaggressions, if you ask somebody what they do for a living, somehow that's racist, right? If you learn that, then why would you take a chance?
I better not talk to Eric because I might say something wrong.
Precisely. So now inclusion means I'm going to silence myself and not talk to the black people.
100%. This is crazy how on the ball this is. Because now everybody's just walking on eggshells. You can't say this, you can't say that. Because as you said, these microaggressions, you know, you could just be asking a general question and somebody could be like, wow, that's super offensive. I can't believe you said that to me. We're getting too soft, too soft.
All white people are racist.
Some trainings are just
I've seen
divisive.
this video. This lady's
dumb.
I believe that white people are born into not being human.
This is extreme, I take it.
Did you hear that? I heard white people were born into not being human.
I believe that white people are born into not being human.
Like, how can you hire this person to come and talk? Right on the sign, all white people are racist. And then her PayPal account. Oh my goodness.
This is extreme, I take it.
It is extreme, but it's becoming more of the norm.
These slides were shown at a CocaCola diversity training.
Confronting racism, understanding what it means to be white, challenging what it means to be racist, try to be less white. To be less white is to be less oppressive, less arrogant, less centered, less defensive, less ignorant, more humble. As if arrogance is like a super white thing. Defensiveness, being certain about something. Break with white solidarity. Whoa.
The thesis of this training was try to be less white.
Yeah.
They're talking about arrogance and things like that. That is by no means a white thing. The point is to demonize the other side as much as possible.
And absurdly, diversity trainings don't even do what they're supposed to do. This Harvard professor analyzed studies of them.
Sadly enough, I did not find one single study which has found that diversity training, in fact, leads to more diversity.
In fact, the Harvard Business Review reports 5 years after diversity.
Why diversity programs fail. This was July and August of 2016.
Training, the share of black women managers actually decreased.
It's not about data, it's about a power grab.
A power grab that starts in schools.
Melt the steel bars of racism and white language supremacy.
This expert tells teachers it's racist to teach traditional English.
If you use a single standard to grade your students' languaging, you engage in racism. You actively promote white language supremacy, which is the handmaiden to white bias in the world.
Smith was in the audience.
I heard that, thought it was a bit misguided.
So Smith wrote a long and thoughtful response saying it's a disservice to minority kids not to teach standard English.
Yeah, like what else would you teach them? Are they just supposed to talk in what was it? AAVE, that African American vernacular English? Is that all they're supposed to use? This is complete garbage.
For that, he was attacked.
We are professors in communication. I thought we could communicate. I was so wrong.
Instead of a discussion, people called you racist. Do you enjoy using Western modes of argument to invalidate people of color? Check your privilege.
What they saw in me was a bigger threat than anything they've seen before. A black person saying it's okay to teach black students standardized English.
An academic named Eve complained about the harm Smith consistently perpetuates.
Oh, the harm.
Other academics joined in to coddle Eve.
Eve spent tremendous labor, physically, intellectually, and emotionally, to write his response, and most probably took him extra time to recover from that labor.
You've got to be joking me. These are people in their 20s that are acting like children, like somebody hurt your feelings, took your candy, took a toy of yours. Like, come on, grow up.
It's like they're victims everywhere.
Yes, that's the point. You have to perpetuate the victimhood. That's part of the narrative.
It just isn't even logical discussion. Has academia gone insane?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the short answer. Yes, it has gone insane.
I was surprised that the leader of that academic conference agreed to talk to me.
You engage in racism.
He's since grown a beard.
If you use a single standard to grade your students' languaging, you engage in racism.
Standardized English tends to exclude many groups of people.
My parents came here from Germany. They made me learn standardized English. Were they being oppressive? I mean, where would I be if they hadn't?
Yeah.
There are absolutely benefits to a standardized English, but that same world creates those same benefits through certain kinds of biases, and they can be bad for many folks who simply are not going to be able to meet that standard. I'm simply saying that I don't think everyone needs to be held to it.
If they're not held to it, how can they succeed?
Yeah, I think that they do. I think that they can.
He was much more measured than he'd been lecturing his fellow professors.
Yeah. I think you're toning it down for my audience here, because you in your conference speech were all about this is an oppressive country and white racism, white dominance.
I tried to be rhetorical, and I tried to use the moment to make a statement.
In other words, he played to the crowd.
Yeah.
Your students who do not embody enough of the white habits of language.
This was only 2019. This looks like something from 1997. Holy moly.
That make up your standards, stand at your classroom doors, and die for your comfort.
That anger is the norm with DEI advocates.
Oh, I saw
this. At Stanford
this.
Law School, a judge who'd been invited to speak was stopped by angry students and Stanford's Dean of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion.
Absolute disenfranchisement of their rights and guzzling.
The diversity dean lectured this federal judge for 6 minutes.
Is it worth the pain that this causes and the division that this causes to have something so incredible, important to say.
Listen to what you just said. Is it worth the pain and divisiveness that you're going to cause? This is called free speech. This is called conversations. I don't think he's out here attacking anybody saying you're garbage, this, and that, this, and that. People's feelings get hurt. You know, tough nuggets. You just deal with it.
This causes and the division that it causes. You have something so incredible, important to say about Twitter and guns and COVID that is worth this impact on the division of these people.
Oh my God,
At least
listen
the
to her
law school
voice.
president later apologized, saying this violates Stanford's commitment to free speech. Good. I'm glad some sensible people push back against nonsense like this. And when it comes to DEI, this education reformer, Chris Rufo, proposes an alternative.
EMC, equality, merit, and color blindness.
Oh, I agree with that 100%. Just like I said at the beginning, equality over equity. Merit, always said that. And colorblindness, yeah, this is a great term. EMC, okay.
I like equality and merit and colorblindness. Merit is a good thing.
But demanding it, we're told, hurts minorities.
Our students of color struggle and fail even when we are there to help them.
So some colleges drop admissions tests.
Yeah.
High schools eliminate honors
Everything's
classes.
so easy.
What is that
and
going
soft.
to do to an entire group of people? Nothing good. I mean, if you wanted to hold down a group of people without them knowing it, this woke thing is a good strategy.
The gap between black and white students is widening, minority and underserved students falling further behind.
What's the better way?
Talking. People don't say what they feel because they don't want to get canceled. They don't want to be called racist. People are censoring, and we have to stop doing that.
Eric Smith is right.
Damn.
Stop censoring. Instead, let's debate. And in a
100%. This is a great video. I'm going to have to follow this guy too. There's so much to unpack in this video. And I mean, unfortunately, like, this is the culture that we're in today, in today's day and age. I know some of the viewers here, they're teachers, they're professors, or they work in colleges and stuff like that. I'm sure in your workplaces, you're probably dealing with this DEI stuff. But yeah, this is just pure garbage and nonsense. But anyways, as always, you guys let me know in the comment section how you feel about this one. And as always, I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks so much.